All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, welcome to Behind the Veil because it's Tuesday and it's 2 o'clock. So we're here with Behind the Veil. Let me just make sure that I've got everybody in the room because I just saw one person. I saw Brooke just show up. Hi, Brooke. I know she's going to come into the room sooner or later. But again, welcome to Tuesdays at 2, Behind the Veil, where you get to ask the experts about your wedding and event. And during this time, it's actually more important than ever be able to have a resource to get to. My name is Keith Willard. I am the owner of Keith Willard Events, an event planner, a wedding planner, and the creator of this little segment. Next to me, I've got Marci Guttenberg. Marci is an expert in invitations with an affair to remember by Marci. So if you have invitation needs or questions, she is the person to go to. Then I've got Tyler Black, who is the owner of Cachet Events. He does incredible events all over the country. And he's actually got one of his events in his display behind him, which is really gorgeous, by the way, Tyler. That is just gorgeous. And then I've got Nichole with CLE Events. She is a specialist in event rentals, especially in vintage furniture and finding ways to create, making the old new again, and has really pivoted her business to create these little nuances, these little vignettes in people's yards for these smaller type of parties. So it's amazing. And then of course we have Brooke Logan Stoner with her Madonna crown. Hello, Brooke. Oh, I think you're still muted. Oh, well, that's a shame.
I don't know if you can hear me now, but I can't hear any of you.
I can hear you. And your makeup looks sickening, girl. You're fine.
Well, the point is I can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh, all right. Well, we got.
So how do I fix that with all this new technology I just purchased? I had a microphone plugged in. I'm like, well, that's going to stop that, but I can't hear anything.
Well, we're going to move on. So I have to tell you, the most random question. And I actually asked Marci how to put this to the committee. And I guess there's no other way just to say it. So we got a question that asked, why do hotels think event planners are assholes?
I'll answer that question.
I was just caught off guard with that because I was like, what? Do I think hotels think we're not so great? I mean, Nichole, what do you think?
I think they have a love-hate relationship. We bring them business, we bring them clients, but we are the client's proponent. And whereas the hotel isn't always, they want you to use their vendors, they want you to spend all your money with them. They don't want you to go outside for any resources. They don't want you to be educated and know about the process a lot of the times. Not to say that hotels are trying to rip you off. That's not what I'm saying, but they're business people. Wow. And they're trying to keep all the business with them. And as event planners, our job is to maximize what you get for your budget, not minimize.
Well, I mean, the thing is I've never actually had a bad relationship with a hotel, but I think that's because, I'm from hotels, and so are you, Nichole. You're from hotels, and Tyler, you've been part of hotels before in the past, right? I mean, and so is Marci. So, and I mean, all of us have come from that background. So I think that question doesn't typically go towards our kind of world because we know what hotels go through. I mean, that is a crappy job to be on the hotel side of this. I mean, their whole job is to hopefully sell you a dream. So they build it up in order to make their quota. And then they have to figure out how to make the event with a staff that may have been there for 20 years, 25 years, and doesn't believe in doing things new. Right? I mean, Tyler, I mean, you've run into this.
Yeah, but I think there's a component of hotels are very transient in their employees. And so you're often going to get these young 20-somethings or into their early 30s that are all of a sudden catering directors or assistant catering directors and so forth. And they might come up upon a Keith Willard who's been in the industry for 20 plus years, might know a thing or two. And so maybe this particular person that's asking the question may become upon someone like that might feel a little threatened by your knowledge, and maybe they look vulnerable because they don't usually know as much. And the only time I've ever had a problem in a hotel is with that situation. So, they think they get a little certificate from wherever and they're experts.
Well,
So
I mean,
that's just a thought.
And to be honest, I mean, when I got into the hotel world, I mean, luckily I had already owned an event company before I even started in hotels, because I think that helped me a huge amount. But the learning curve from being in a hotel was dramatic. I mean, you just don't realize how much they have to deal with on their part of it until you're actually in the trenches with them. I mean, catering people, catering salespeople have to go through so much crap. I mean, they have their goals. So their director of sales only looks at numbers. That's all they care about. But catering salespeople are talking about emotions. I mean, they're trying to do everything they can to make people's dreams come true. And yet they still have to balance the need for their monthly and quarterly goals. I mean, I always thought it was like one of those love-hate relationships. I loved what I did, but I really did hate the fact that numbers were attached to what I did.
Well,
but I think
you and I are a perfect example. We share a client, and that client had always just gone directly to venues.
I'm not a client.
Directly to venues to book events or to the hotel, and they basically give them their budget and say, this is $50,000. And the only thing they would get was food and beverage. And then we took over the client, and now for their same $50,000, they were not only getting their food, their beverage, their venue, but they were getting entertainment, they were getting decor, they were getting lighting. So we were able to maximize what the client was getting versus if they just went directly to the hotel.
And I can see why hotels would not be happy about that. I mean, because we know how to negotiate the contracts better, so that way we maximize their budgets. Because with that same client that we're talking about, one of the things that they used to do that was bad is that they would do open bar for like the full 5 hours, when really they needed to do open bar for 2.5, maybe 3 hours, because you had an hour of people showing up and an hour of people leaving. So there was wasted money happening on either side of that event.
Yeah.
But then also we know the rules, and we understand that they have to deal with personnel issues that are just a little hard sometimes. I mean, let's talk about Fisher Island. I mean, not to throw anything under the bus, but Fisher Island has its own whole world of logistical nightmares because there's not a direct access to the island. And everything has to happen through the ferry.
Did you say Fisher Island?
Yeah, Fisher Island.
All you need to do, darling, is pack a toothbrush.
What?
Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, I'm so taking your gay card away. Birdcage? They were all buried there.
At Fisher Island.
Yes. Remember when they had the dinner and everything, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. Get me off the Zoom right now. Seriously. Birdcage.
Oh, you're talking about a movie. Got it. Okay. Sorry. I was
because you've got a canary in the kitchen.
Get out of my life. So okay. You're talking about a movie.
Never mind, off topic.
I
can't make things fun if you don't know anything about anything.
You are so funny. Oh my God. Fisher Island.
So which
what was
person
the maid's
on
name?
The View are you?
Huh?
I said, I wonder which person on The View she is.
She's the redhead.
Is she the joy? The joy.
The joy.
Oh,
she's
really?
our joy. So okay. Going back to that question, why
Keith, I have a new idea for flowers. Just saying.
Okay, so going back to the question, why do hotels think event planners are assholes?
I'm going to actually answer that one.
Perfect.
Okay, because coming from the hotel side, I actually experienced something that I think we all know, is that there are people that will call themselves wedding and event professionals.
Yep.
And they have only done like one event, and they're the professional. Case in point, I actually had a woman come in and her sister's wedding, and she called herself a professional wedding planner, to put it clearly. And she actually asked me to put an ice carving in the middle of a dance floor. Now, we all know putting an ice ring in the middle of a dance floor would be like catastrophe. When it melts, what happens with the water? It's going to go all over your floor and all your guests are going to fall. So obviously, you know, people have to realize that when they're hiring a wedding planner, they want to make sure that they're hiring someone who is qualified.
Right.
And that is the point that I think that maybe some of the people that are in the hotel side have come across a lot of, or people are calling themselves professionals when they're not.
Well, it's the reverse of what I said.
Yes, exactly.
I hope the
It
bride
does.
looks
And
good in a
I've
two-piece.
come across so many bad party planners. So many bad ones. Oh, I got horror stories.
Well, and that's the problem. I think that most hotels have horror stories. I remember like the very first event that I did at Hyatt Pier 66 was a wedding where the client told me that there were only 75 people and it was an outside caterer. It was literally my first event. So first of all, you know, don't ever allow an outside caterer when you're at a hotel. I didn't know that. I booked it before asking my boss. Scott Schaefer, if you're listening, you know the story. Oh my God. So they brought in an Israeli caterer. They had like 200 people that showed up. The caterer destroyed the room, destroyed it. And it was chaos. It was just sheer chaos. But it was a lesson learned. I mean, I guarantee you there are questions that I ask now that I didn't ask before that. But you know, if you have a new catering person that's just come on onto the payroll, they don't know any of this. And of course, I'm sure there's a couple of like that event planner that I dealt with that wedding. Yeah, they were assholes. I hated them.
Language. Fucker.
Okay, a little early for F-bombs, but all right.
You said language. Listen, I woke up, Keith and I called you. I woke up 2 hours late.
Yep.
So I'm behind the 8 ball a little bit. Cheers.
That you're here. But that's what I'm saying is that, so, you know, there are times there's a balance. And that's why I think that it's really important in this world, especially in South Florida, that we partner with people that know what they are doing. I mean, like Bonnie with Cafe a la Carte, she's been everywhere. Every single event, every place possible. So she knows what the logistics are going to be, and she knows when she has to be there and does it right. That's one of those things, you know, and that's the same thing with like Tyler and with Nichole. We've been in the business for a while now, and we know how to make sure that everybody's successful, not just the event side of it, but also the hotel side of it. I mean, right, Marci?
Exactly. I mean, you just want to make sure that you're vetting your people, and that if you hire a wedding planner, obviously you're going to hire the right person.
Yeah. Make
sure that they have the story behind them to back their expertise.
I mean, and the thing is, so that leads me into my second question that somebody sent us. I'm planning a budget wedding. Where is the number one cost in a wedding? What is the number one cost, the biggest amount of money that goes when you're talking about weddings? Where is that large amount of money?
Food and beverage, I would assume.
Is it? I mean, you all in agreement? Food and beverage?
I think so.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I guess it depends on the type of event you're having. If you're having a sit-down dinner for 150 with open bar, so yeah. But I mean, it doesn't have to be. But I guess it depends just on the type of event. That would be your single.
I actually responded number of people, because I feel like number of people drives everything else that you're going to be doing. So, you know, unfortunately, what happens is that
guest count.
Yeah, hello, guest count. Exactly. You know, you start talking about your wedding, and then of course you think, oh, I need to invite, you know, my friends and family. I need to invite. Oh, we lost somebody. I need to invite my boss at work. Don't invite your boss at work. Do not. By the way, FYI, do not invite your boss at work. I'm just saying, straight out.
That's a great topic, by the way.
What?
Guest list.
I'm not just 360. They're cool.
Yeah, that's the 360. But that's what I'm saying is that, you know, your budget starts with your guest list. I mean, what are some common things that we could suggest to our viewership about their guest list?
I would say, number one, only, you know, think about who you're going to be talking to down the road. Who are you going to be friends with? Who are you? You know, obviously your family is going to be there no matter what. But beyond that, your circle of friends, are they work friends? Are they friends that you really go out with on a personal basis? Or do you just go to happy hour after work occasionally? You know, and think about those people, because I mean, Keith is saying, every aspect in the whole dynamic of the wedding goes back to the cost per person to attend.
Cost per person.
Your invitation, your food, your beverage, if you're having favors, if you're,
but that's what I'm saying. It all comes down to your guest list and your price per person. I mean, you're really talking about, when you're talking about an average size wedding in South Florida, you're looking at $350 to $750 per person for a wedding in South Florida. I mean, when you put it in those terms, is it worth inviting you if it's going to cost me $400 to invite you?
Yeah, the gift won't be that good. So the gift won't cover the cost.
Right, exactly. That check in that envelope is definitely not going to cover that cost.
Never invite somebody for the fact that you think you're going to get something.
I know. A lot of
the presents and the card.
Oh yeah, because we know the people that you think they're going to give you the best gift, cheap out. They really do. They totally cheap out.
Those are the ones that put pellets in the rice and they throw them at you and not petals, darling. That's the you can't sit with us table. You know, I talk about this every show.
Oh God, pellets in the thing. But I mean, Tyler, what do you think about that? I mean, the fact, you know, do you invite less people? I mean, where is that limit? Where would you think people should like limit that?
Yeah, I think you should start by your immediate family, the people that really matter, and then immediate friends, your chosen family, and then go out from there. But I'd also encourage people to think about their bridal parties and stuff too, because sometimes you have 14 women standing with a bride and they come at you with a budget and they don't realize what all goes into that. So, true. You know, all those kinds of things, you know, you don't need that many people standing with you, because the more people means the more tables, the more chairs, the more tablecloths, the more invitations, the more food, the more beverage. Everything's just more. And like you said, are you willing to, on a normal day, would you spend that much money for these people to go out to dinner with? So, you know, I would put it in that context to see who you would want to invite first to do that. And don't play on those emotions that, you know, oh my God, I got to invite this one because they're going to get hurt or this. You know, it's a family thing. You need to think about what's the most important for you, and you want to get the most bang for your buck. And sometimes you just can't have as many people as you would desire to make that happen.
So then I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite excuse for not inviting somebody? I mean, we want to arm our brides and grooms out there with some ammunition, right?
I always tell people to tell to the people that are inquiring. You said I had to keep my list on the smaller side. As much as I would love to invite there a lot of people, I have a lot of family. I have, you know, we have very close family friends.
Yep.
And so therefore I had to limit the number of people and just be honest. You don't have to, there's no reason to lie. It's just be honest.
Well, you can lie a little bit, honestly.
A little.
Yeah.
You can blame it on your mother.
Oh,
blame it on your mother.
One.
There you go.
Blame it on your mother. That's always a good one, actually. You know, blame it on a relative, because that goes a long way. I mean, Nichole, what's your favorite excuse for not inviting people?
I think everybody has a built-in excuse right now, and it's COVID-19.
Oh yeah, right. It does. Actually, that's kind of built in.
Exactly.
That damn thing just keeps coming up.
It just keeps coming up. But before COVID, but after COVID, what would be a great way for, because again, we're going to go back to, you know, creating budgets for weddings, and how do you not invite somebody in a way that keeps their ego intact?
That's not my
Brooke. Wait, Brooke, what are you? You're muted, Brooke. Why are you? Unmute yourself.
I don't know.
Okay, what was that?
That's why, because I was like, my easy react was, you smell like taco meat and we're serving Italian. That's all. That's that simple.
You are crazy. What is wrong? You smell like fish and we're
There's
serving
nothing
chicken.
wrong
I mean,
with
it's such a random comment. I mean,
Oh, that's racist.
it's funny.
Racist.
It's not racist. It's food. It's not racist. It's food. But that's what I'm saying. It's that, I mean, I always tell people, I'm like, look, we look for a really intimate space. It was something that really drew us. We had to start with immediate family first, and it really limited our options to invite other people, but at the end of the day, I think it's really about the selling. You have to actually believe this when you're selling it to whoever is asking you. Plus, who invites themselves to a wedding? I mean, how many times have we heard that somebody said, "Oh, I can't wait to come to your wedding"? It's like, well, we haven't sent out the invites yet.
Yeah.
Or can I bring my boyfriend?
Oh, can I bring my boyfriend?
Or can I bring the guy that I'm dating? That it's not even but the guy I'm dating.
Right? I mean, so Tyler, what is the etiquette for people inviting a guest to a wedding? What's your take on that?
I think you need to invite the person that you feel like you want to be there. It does not have to be plus one. And you don't always have to invite every family member either. There are some families that you feel like you got to invite the whole damn family, and there's some people in family you don't even ever talk to. So just prioritize people, and just it's got to speak to your heart. And if it's honest, then it's going to come across honest. And if it's going to be ugly, then it might be ugly at the wedding. So you don't need that crazy Aunt Jane drinking and spinning on the pole and knocking down the tent. I know we've all seen these videos. Or I've got pictures of a wedding.
You just had that wedding actually in Oklahoma. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You just had that wedding.
Well, that was interesting. Where 80 more people show up. Yeah.
Surprise.
Well, but so Marci, on the invitation side of it, how do you control that guest list? How do you control your response when you're sending out invitations to be able to control that guest count?
Well, it should stay. Yeah, sorry, that's your.
What was that?
That's your category.
No. Yeah, that's Marci.
Okay,
She's our invitation expert.
The first thing I would ask them is how much etiquette do they want to impart on their guest list?
When you say etiquette, what do you mean?
Etiquette being like the rule of thumb. Etiquette is kind of like a set of guidelines or a set of rules that.
So you mean like how politically correct do you need to be?
Politically correct. Correct.
Okay. Be a lady.
Be a lady.
Be a lady. And so, I mean, if they really want to go by the rule, I would say, if somebody is living with someone, then you invite that person and the person that they're living with.
But how long have they had? I mean, how long do they need to be living with that person to be considered?
I would think if they're living together, it's pretty serious.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say, you've been dating somebody for 6 months and everybody goes, well, they're with each and now they're living together. What? I mean, do you do that on a case-by-case basis? Is it 6 months?
It's a case-by-case basis. It's a case-by-case basis. And if you don't want to invite the other person, I mean, it's your day.
But how do you put that on the invite? How do you put that on the invite?
How do you word it?
Yeah, how do you word that?
Okay, so on the envelope, the only people that are coming or the only people that you're inviting to your wedding are listed on the envelope. So if it is, let's say it's Miss Jane Smith and Mr. Jim Doe, those are the two people invited. If Miss Jane Smith is on the envelope and Mr. Jane Doe is not, he's not invited.
So,
and we're not making a seating card for him, are we?
Exactly. So what I was thinking about is like on the reply card, I've actually done it where we said we actually put the number of people that were invited from that family that said, 3 of 5 say yes to coming.
You can do that as well.
But we wrote in the 5. So that way it was really specific.
It's
like,
if you
try.
I mean, especially, and your client, your guests, your client knows your guests better than anybody else is going to know their guest. Like I'm not going to know my client's guest.
Right.
We're not going to know your client's guests. But if I know that my guests are all going to follow the so-called rule, I don't have to worry. If I think that there's people that are you may want to put it on there, like you're saying.
Right. But I mean, all of that has to be super careful. But I mean, Nichole, when we're talking about this kind of thing, you know, human nature as an individual, you know, when you get a wedding invite, and let's say you've been dating somebody for 3 months, I mean, do you try to sneak them past that invite process? I know I'm totally putting you on the spot because I'm like, you know, put your feet in somebody else's shoes. Like you're dating somebody, you're all hot and moody. You're in the, you know, in that first stage of love. You know,
I know I can be hard. Like, say it's a friend from university and you don't know anyone else there, you know, and you're not friends with the family. Maybe you're the only person you really know is the bride or the groom. It can be a little awkward, and that's why you may want to bring some, you know, the idea. But at the same time, I think most people understand the expense that goes into the weddings and are hopefully cognizant of the fact that it's not just, oh, hey, it's time to get liquored up and dance on your dime. So I think most people try to be thoughtful, but and then there may be plenty of people who assume. People surprise me every day. So I don't have a good answer for you.
Well, and I feel like now more than ever, you know, the ideas.
I love you, Nichole.
I know, don't you? But
let's be friends.
The old ideas of what is normal and what is customary seems to keep going away. Like I feel like
it is.
You can't take anything for granted anymore. You can't just assume that people are going to follow the rules unless you spell it out. So I'll give you an example. So recently somebody put, oh gosh, what was the term? Sunday best. That was what, you know, so it was Sunday best for the attire, and people showed up in shorts and flip-flops.
Oh shit.
because that's their Sunday best. I mean,
wow, and my mouth was the problem the whole time. This is why we're friends.
But, yeah, I know, but this is what I'm saying is that, you know, I mean, do we have to get so super specific with everything that we do now?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah.
So Marci's like, yeah.
I mean, I would say, you know, like, I probably would discourage from Sunday best, because I know that means, to me, I know it has a lot of connotations for a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Probably say semi-formal or.
But what does semi-formal mean?
Semi-formal is more
punk rock cut-up t-shirt. And by the way, just so y'all know, I wear like Sunday's best every show. The one time I look like trash. Fluffy, can we go to you, please, with your Sunday's floral tunic on? Yeah,
I love my jacket. Shut up. I love my jacket.
I think it's fabulous, and I look like trash.
Saying,
whatever.
I needed something to be a little fabulous today.
But,
you know, but I mean, honestly, for the people that are watching, you know, that are not wedding experts, you know, when you think of the word Sunday best, what does that really mean?
I think it assumes like what you would wear to church, but like Marci said, that brings different connotations for different people. But I think most of us would assume like church wear, but I mean, not everybody goes to church, you know, and then
some churches are lenient.
Right. And some people churches, the big hats and very into it. And some people, you know, hey, so.
And some people show up to church in shorts.
Yeah,
exactly. They really do.
Big hats, church with big hats. I mean, I want to go to that church.
Or I'm
right next to
a
me.
brazier that says 2 for 1. Sorry about it. I always curl my hair. Today I did not. Sorry, I'm playing.
You're so
I'm
funny.
like, I feel poorly lit. And I did not curl my hair today.
So Tyler,
I think this is an important topic because I've had people call me and they're really stressed out because they don't understand maybe what semi-formal or this and stuff means. I think it's really important to be very specific because that gives ease to your guests. Oftentimes, you know, they get these vague instructions and they're like,
okay, Nichole, I see you.
Yeah, you know. And then you have people show up in tuxedos and people show up.
But is it bad to give people specific examples? I mean, Marci, do you put specific examples like slacks and jacket? I mean,
no,
is that a bad thing? I mean,
I haven't seen that. I mean, I haven't seen anybody do that yet.
Right.
Don't know that it might not come to that, but usually, you know, you would go with something that people are more familiar with, whether it's formal, semi-formal, chic,
but see, when you say chic, okay, so
chic and cocktail wear.
Chic would be more like a pants.
We've all seen Miami chic on a Thursday night and South Beach, honey.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, you just have to get very specific, what are you going to put in front of the word chic? And,
so what would you put in what would it? Yeah, what would be that word?
Party chic is one, like I see that a lot with like the bar and bat mitzvah scene or the quinceañeras.
So party chic is what? Like boobs barely covered?
I'm
just saying.
It's like pants and fun tops and
panties, bras. Panties, bras.
What was that?
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself because I was thinking Casey's, but like, don't say it. Panties,
just ignore her.
bra.
Anyway,
Panties.
so wait, do we? Because this is a big deal. Because honestly, I get asked this question a lot. Like, what do you put on the invite as far as wording for your attire? Do you put like semi-formal and then describe it on the website? Would that be a possibility?
You could do that, yes.
Well, words like semi-formal.
Well, if you want them to look a certain way, spell it out for them, Mary, but do it nicely. Marci, that's what she does.
Well, I actually, and I could share it with all of you, but
yeah,
I actually have created for my clients a list of like different ways to pose, how to list them so that they can, it helps them put together the idea of how to communicate to their guests properly. But I think that it's really about making sure that you're setting the right tone with what you're asking people to come and dressed as. And
that's hard because that's really hard to do it via paper, because in this world of AV, video, instant everything, how do you get that across to people on paper? And I think that,
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination. And honestly, I was just listening on a seminar today, in fact, and they were talking about how invitations were starting to trickle into the virtual world. And because it's going more of a hybrid, since are actually going to become huge because people want to have a tangible item. And part of some of these events will be more virtual and in person. So it's going to be a combination that you're going to start seeing at things, and the invitation area is going to become bigger than what it has been.
So that brings up an interesting question. So could you have an invite that says in person and virtual?
You could. If you want to hire somebody to do a virtual part of maybe your cocktail hour, and I don't know what what's going to happen, but my thought is there may be some, and I don't know, I'm not in that arena. It's more techie area.
Yeah, but Tyler is. I mean, Tyler's doing that,
Yeah, I think that there's going to be some kind of a virtual component where the people who are attending via virtual will be able to interact more with the on-site, on-location people. I don't know how that's going to work yet. It's going to be a while down, but that is the forethought.
So this makes it interesting because then the invites could be, separated into in-person and virtual. And then the day of, there could be Venmo accounts set up for donations for the gifts. I mean, we could be talking about all of that kind of stuff. But Tyler, you've already been working on this. So what have you been like investigating?
Well, I'm investigating doing the virtual live streaming of it and what that's going to be taking, and that's pretty much a given. But I'm very curious as to, there's a lot of festivals and stuff that are reimagining themselves as virtual. And I'm very interested. I've been trying to find out what they're doing, but I have not been able to get too much into it. Right. But they're actually creating alternate realities and stuff that you're going to be able to buy a ticket and participate in. So that's cool. Going to be very interesting. And that could play into really a lot of fun with bar mitzvahs and stuff. But I have not seen how they're going to accomplish this. Burning Man is one event that I've been very focused in on, and they're doing this. It's going to be a virtual Burning Man Festival this year.
Really?
That means no one's going to be there. It's all going to be done from everyone's homes, and they're going to create a virtual reality that you can go into and tour and so forth. So I don't know if they're going to continue to do weddings that way, because people get married at Burning Man. There's so many I don't know, so many ideas out there, so many things. It's going to be interesting how the technology catches up with the ideas, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and you know, they talk about these eggs. Like if you watch any of these videos, they talk about people finding eggs throughout the video. Huh?
Eggs?
Scrambled with cheese.
Yeah, so you haven't heard about this, Marci?
No.
So there are like, they call them eggs. So there are these little hints, and the hints are called eggs throughout like a video that like forecast a future event. So when it comes to like Marvel, there are eggs implanted into the video showing what's going to happen in the next video, what's going to be happening.
Okay, like a teaser.
It's a teaser, but
because I was like,
you have to really be looking for that. I mean, that could be kind of cool to kind of do that into your, you know, maybe it's in your rehearsal, maybe it's in your, you know, invitation. And I mean, there's just so much that could be integrated into this new world. But, you know, I feel like youth is so far past where we are right now. How do we catch up? That's an actual question.
No.
I mean, I feel like Tyler's actually more apt to like answer this kind of question. And don't walk
Well,
over,
I'm
girl.
thinking, but it ain't coming on. I honestly do not know. Right now I've been focusing on the virtual reality aspect of it. I'm not the virtual aspect, but just being able to attend by not being there aspect of it. All this other stuff is just technology. I am just not up on just yet, but we're going to have to. I think this is going to be
so
Rob, some fun stuff that's going to be happening.
Yeah, so Rob Parisi corrected me. Those are Easter eggs. There are Easter eggs in like the films and the situation. So thank you, Rob, for correcting me. I mean, yeah, so the little Easter eggs throughout. And it's actually something that's been going on for Marvel films. If you're a geek like I am, you know, you look for those kind of things. It's awesome. Like there may be some eggs in these frames behind me. Brooke, we can hear you, honey.
I'm trying to tell my assistant what to do.
I'm like, all right, so let's go back to the original question, not the original question, but how do you reduce your overall budget when we're talking about number of guests per event? So when we're talking about, you know, because we're really talking about 250 to 750 per person, yada, yada. How do you reduce that overall cost? Nichole, like what would be a way that somebody could use their money in a super smart way when it comes to rentals?
When it comes to rentals,
yeah.
Let's see, multi-purpose. So, you know, one would be being able to transform a space. We've done this a lot, would be to reuse a space. Like sometimes you use one for a ceremony and then you transform it in for a reception, but you can kind of modify and keep the decor. That's kind of labor intensive, but the other way would be, especially if you have one big room, what we did one time is we created this really beautiful backdrop for the bride, and it was in a smaller space, a more intimate space. Everybody just stepped out for the cocktail reception, and then we turned that into the backdrop for their sweetheart table. So there are ways that kind of anything that you can do that's multi-purpose, like an entrance into your space that can then be turned into a photo op.
But you know, there's something super cool about going in for a ceremony, leaving it for an hour, going back into the same room and having it completely different.
It's
like magic.
But it's not necessarily cheaper because that's labor. That's
True.
The point I'm trying to make, because you
True.
have a lot of hands on deck to do that transformation quickly and smoothly in an hour, and it's fast and furious for everyone who's involved. So.
But you know, when we're talking about an experience, so maybe that's a reason to invite less people to be able to have that experience of magic, you know, transforming a space 100%. They were like, really? We were just in this room an hour ago, right?
Right. And I think the other thing is being able to work with the hotel and like with their minimums and things. You're always really smart about that, Keith, and that how to figure out how to, you know, do you need open bar for 5 hours, for instance, or maybe it's just, you know, people do like to get something to drink. So maybe it's just a welcome cocktail. And sometimes we've even had times where they've let us bring in the liquor or they've given us the liquor at cost for that welcome cocktail, you know, versus charging you $15 per person. You know, it was like $5. I mean,
yeah, but your emergency kit for one of our clients was the best. I mean, so she literally created these little, I don't know.
What does that look like?
Well, they were first aid kits, but you opened it up and it was literally a bottle of.
it was one of the little tiny bottles of Fireball.
Oh, my injury. Perfect.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was a first aid kit, but you opened it up and all it was the little bottle of Fireball. It was awesome.
All the first aid stuff, and we just filled it with little bottles of Fireball. So yeah.
I'll take 2. I tripped. I bumped my head.
But you know what I mean? It's those unexpected wow moments, because if you had gotten a little first aid kit from somebody, you would have been like, oh, okay, and then you open up, oh my God, laughter, joy, fun, all built into that experience, because I think that's the kind of creativity that you're going to need to be looking for, especially moving forward when we're talking about smaller amounts of people, because again, COVID doesn't mean 250 people anymore. We're talking about 50 people, 70 people, 100 people, right? So having those fun moments will make all the difference. But also, when we're talking about overall budgets, you know, when somebody said that they used to have a 250 person budget and now it's a 100 person budget, those kind of things are now accessible. I mean, right?
Right.
Am I crazy?
No, absolutely.
I think we're all like focusing in on who's Sonic cleaning their teeth or whatever that sound is.
I think because I'm like, usually on Tuesdays my bushes are trimmed and they came yesterday, so it's not me.
So funny.
It's the squirrel tables.
Oh yeah, good. Speaking of that, let's talk about.
Do I have a picture of you squirrel tables?
Wow.
Oh my God. Hold on.
All right, Keith, I've got things to do. Keith, you start digging. Start digging for pictures.
I'll dig because these squirrel tables are the best.
Yes. Well, that's the one thing I was gonna do is I might pull up all her stuff, because if not, I'm gonna send it to you, because I spoke with her earlier. This is amazing. So Keith, you work on that. Now, while Keith's working on that, we're gonna play a little game. Keith, you are busy. You're not. You're last. You can have final thoughts. Well.
Okay, go ahead.
He's the one that brought me the gallon of vodka, just so you guys know.
I did. Dylan bought her a gallon of
Tito's. Alive or dead, and to me it's a celebrity, but it could be anybody, alive or dead. What wedding would you crash if you could?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not just pretty, I have a little bit of brains. I'm not against you, I just...
Yours.
Clearly, do we have to talk about it? Look at it. Sean Penavadonna. 2 reasons.
Oh,
I would have
reworked
her hair. We would have talked about that dress, but the blue eyeshadow, I wore it just for her.
I would do David Bowie and Amon.
Yes, David Bowie and come on.
Yes, ma'am. Who, by the way, just so you know,
I like that.
Was inspiration for Madonna and was her idol to get her start. So,
by the way,
good job,
Nichole has created these little squirrel tables. Oh my God.
That's the squirrel bar.
This is a squirrel bar.
Cool. I like that.
Is that the tiki?
How cute is this?
Yeah, so the squirrel actually comes behind the bar to eat his little nuts. See, he sits there, but if you're looking at it from the front, he looks like he's tending bar. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
It couldn't be any cuter. And by the way, this is what, 55?
No, 45.
45. So 45.
We're going to be doing, this was just a kind of a prototype. We're going to be doing them in all different styles. Like if your houses kind of have like a nautical or a coastal style, we can do a nautical coastal one, or we could do a pirate one. We could do a mermaid one. We could do, so we're, creative people have to create. So we've changed how we create, right? So, we're going to create it. Like if you're a particular sports team, we make it a sports bar for your Gators or for your whatever.
Oh my God, so much fun.
So we're going to come up with a whole little line of bars, and then we had the little picnic tables. But we've been loving the picnic tables. We watch the squirrels every day come down and eat. The dogs love it. So it's been
and I love mine, by the way. So thank you for bringing it by. So back to Brooke. Repeat that last question because I didn't really get to answer it.
Oh, well, who brought you over again with Cheetos? Is what I want to know.
No,
well, you're more of a tequila girl, so.
No,
all
but
right.
you said alive or dead.
Alive or dead. If you could attend any wedding, alive or dead, and crash that, what would it be? We'll get to the second part of question and answer later. First of all, you got to pick it.
Alive or dead.
And then we'll talk about why.
Crap, I can't think of it right now.
Well,
I mean, I have the person in my head, and it's
smooth screen, Tyler.
Yeah.
Do what?
Alive or dead? Whose wedding would you crash?
Well, there's one that I have in my mind, but I don't know the names of the people. It was one of those Iranian royal families.
That's the one I'm doing because it's a friend of Diana's.
Oh, you can't be a copycat though. Oh, well, that would be fun though.
It was a friend of Diana's, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't think of his name right now because I'm like, something about crocodile that's in my head.
Oh wow.
Well, the event goes on for days, and that I like being flown in on a private jet and all this stuff. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so here, Nichole, where's Nichole?
I'm right here.
Okay. By the way, just so y'all know, I got this new thing going on, and I'm out of my element with like what I've normally done. So I can't see anybody. I got a fake account going on to watch us on to make sure I'm not poorly lit. Here's the thing. So we have India and Indians and all. Okay. So just so what I'm telling you is, me and Nichole are like the cool people. Okay. She subbed David Bowie, which is Madonna's gig.
Oh, Elton John. That's what I was thinking. Elton John.
You can't join the party now.
Elton John. Too bad.
Elton John. You can't join the party now. Well,
too late.
Listen,
Elton John.
He tickled the ivories for Princess Diana, which I love.
Exactly. So. Elton John. Totally.
And just in case anybody's wondering, she was a perfect 5'10" size 10. And in 2003, so was I. I'm just saying, I was. Remember that picture on the doc that I sent you before I had my top lip done? That was Princess Diana.
Okay, moving on. What's your second part of the question?
I said on why.
What?
I just scratched the inside of my nostril on TV.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
The part was why though.
That's so funny. Well, no, because
you gotta tell me why.
What, Elton John? Because he had every star there.
Queen, you can't change your mind in the middle of the answer.
I just said Elton John.
That's not what your first answer was.
It was.
You piggied it back off of Tyler, and then you had to get creative.
No, Elton John. I'm just saying. So.
What about Freddie Mercury? What if he got married? Let's talk about that.
Well, he didn't.
I said, what if?
But he didn't.
Who do you think he would have married?
Well, I think he did marry. Didn't he marry his girlfriend for a long time? Mary,
didn't he?
Yeah.
She wasn't
They didn't get married.
He didn't get married.
She wasn't a girl like me, honey. She didn't count.
Oh my goodness.
No, she counted in every way. She did. No,
all right.
He loved
so
her.
let's pull this conversation back around. So these people obviously had budgets that
nothing but trouble.
Nothing but trouble. That probably go way far more than we could ever afford in our lifetime. But when we're talking about real life, one of the things that we just talked about is reducing your guest count. But I'm also
wait a minute. No. Marci,
but I'm also a big fan of venues. Like, finding the right venue that is cost effective, because if you have a budget, let's say of 20,000 and you're trying to invite 300 people, you don't go to a Ritz-Carlton.
Right.
You just don't, because there are other places that you can go that can give you the same effect that aren't a Ritz-Carlton.
And I have a big point on that when you're ready.
I'm ready for you now.
Okay.
I didn't think to shut me up.
I totally should. Done. Mute.
A lot of times a bride has a vision in their head of what they want to do, and then they pick a ballroom where you got to reinvent the whole look of the ballroom, and that costs a lot of money.
Right.
So try to pick something that you can just accent a ballroom, something that's going to be pretty already, or something that will be easier. It gets so frustrating when they go into, let's say, a turquoise and gold ballroom, and they have a fuchsia and orange theme, and and you've got to reinvent this whole room. or the walls are so ugly and then you need to drape them and all this kind of stuff. Pick your venue according to the kind of the vision you have for what you want your look to be.
And how many times have we gone through that? I mean, it's amazing how many times I've had to say, there are other places that we could do this event that better match your visual. And
try to pick something that's neutral, at least.
Well, you know, and it comes back to that catering salesperson that we talked about at the beginning of this show. I mean, sometimes people connect really specifically with the human being, and then they forget that the space itself may not work for their event.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of like wanting to go to a beach venue, but you really want like a Colorado look. It's
right.
You know,
but you really connected with that person.
It's funny you said that. Yeah. How many times have we gone into a Ritz-Carlton or these ballrooms with all the chandeliers and everything and done a beach theme party? It blows my mind.
It blows my mind. It's stupid. And they're like, oh, you know, can you bring in 1,000 pounds of sand? No. The answer is no. It's like glitter. It never goes away. It's always there. It's always there. I mean, just look at Brooke. She always has glitter around her. She's totally pissed at me now.
You muted?
Oh, no, she's not, darling.
No, she's not.
He knows better than that. Listen, kids, let me tell you a little secret about Fluffy.
I'm muting you now. Done. Anyway. She's like, this show is completely off the rails tonight.
Well, saving money, I mean, here's the point. You know, not only the venue, but the venue sometimes lets you bring in your own caterers, right? So if you can bring in your own caterers, definitely lean on your event planner and get a couple of different estimates for what you want, because you can go have the same exact menu or very similar menu and go to 3 different caterers. You can reach very, very different price points. So
and sometimes there's some city places that are great. Like there is the Richardson House in Wilton Manors. That is gorgeous, big, white, beautiful mansion with these beautiful bricks that you can bring in any caterer that you want. And I think it's like a $350 rental, which is stupid. I mean, oh my God, really? And
yeah,
I think
right?
Yeah, but I think you have to require somebody that lives in Wilton Manors. But I mean, honestly, walk down the street and say, hey, can I give you $100 so I can live in Wilton Manors? I mean, there's always a way around that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's those type of things, but I think having an event professional in your corner that knows the areas and knows how to make those things happen and find those locations. Well, I mean, how many times have I gone to Tyler or to Nichole or to Marci and say, do you know of a place that kind of has this vibe? I mean, there's a place called Bamboo Village, Bamboo something that I never even knew existed. Until I asked one of you about like this vibe I was looking for. What was it called?
Bamboo Garden, I think.
Bamboo Garden. That's what it was. Bamboo Garden. But you know, that's the thing is that if you have a network of great event professionals, it's an easy thing to answer and say, okay, this is the kind of vibe I'm going for. What would you suggest?
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler, how often have you been put in this situation where you had to find something that was totally unique and you're like, I don't know?
Well, yes. It gets tough because it depends on the town. Fort Lauderdale has like a deficit of wedding venues, in my opinion.
Really? You think there needs to be more wedding venues?
Well, there's a few that popped up recently that are amazing, by the way. But
like what? Tell me.
The old American Legion Club on Sterling Road, I believe it is, has been turned into a venue that is spectacular. It's
as I knock everything out to write this down.
It is, it's just a clean slate. It's all white, floor to ceiling, white curtains and stuff like that. I tend to look for stuff that we can go in and create whatever we need to do. I had someone looking they wanted to do a circus theme and they needed a venue that had high ceilings and stuff.
Well, I know somebody that has circus theme materials, Nichole.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know a bearded lady. I'm not talking about me, assholes. That was me. I have a friend that does great makeup. It's a big beard in Michigan.
Okay, just making sure.
Wow.
You're like 3 days. Give me 3 days.
Maybe I'll fire you tomorrow instead of the fun. Okay, but listen, before you, because you keep muted. This new setup, you tricked me because they're like, oh, now I have the power. So, okay, here's the thing. I really do want to hear from Marci. Because I've been watching this on a fake account to see, long story. And she was so lovely. I gotta get what her gig is because she was.
By the way, did you see her lighting? Look how good her makeup
amazing.
was.
I'm like, hello.
I'm just saying.
Well, she's been beating me the last 3 weeks. So that's why I want to know what's going on here. But she's gorgeous. No, don't get me wrong. But I'm not hard on the eyes. I want Marci's pick was for, because she's the only one that could talk about it. For the If I Could Crash Any Wedding.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah.
Whose wedding I would crash?
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive. And you can have up to 3.
So
this is my show for the next 5 minutes.
I would have said somebody really cool like Sting or somebody like that. But I kind of am thinking maybe, and it's a really weird combination, Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra.
Ooh, that's a good
Their
one.
wedding was like a week long and they had all these amazing different celebrations.
Yeah.
Different culture.
That's good.
I think that
Disco
would be really
biscuits.
cool.
I actually think that might have been the wedding I was thinking about, but I was thinking it was more Iranian or something. But yeah, I saw pictures. It was amazing, and I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah. That's an awesome pick.
That would
I
be a
will
very
say
cool one.
the other wedding I would have crashed was Princess Diana's because I would have steamed the shit out of that dress.
Yeah, steamed.
But I would have steamed the shit out of
dress.
I just wanted to go behind her and use it like a steamer.
Oh my god!
That was amazing. But like, oh my goodness.
And
She
I
was
watched
still a
that.
beauty.
I remember
Still a
that
beauty.
wedding. I watched it live. I
know. I did too, and all I could think of is wrinkles, wrinkles, wrinkles.
Yeah.
You know, I just was
Poor
like wrinkles,
thing.
wrinkles, wrinkles.
And there's
Build a bigger
Happy
car. You
sleeves.
have all the money in the world, English. Build a bigger car.
And can you
Come
believe
on.
that wedding dress was considered in vogue for the time? I'm like,
Yes.
not by anybody's standards. What?
And it was
Are
like
you-
massive.
No. But this is one of those things. So when we talk to our brides and we talk about like what your wedding's going to look like in 10 years, Princess Diana is the first thing that comes to my mind
Mhm.
when I think about this. It's like,
Should I do
what did we
braids?
think 10 years after Princess Diana's wedding? We were like, what is happening here? Right? So it's like when people
I
go,
straightened my hair and grew it out.
Actually, all
I
those
don't care.
80s
She's still
dresses
an
were
icon. Still
gross.
a queen.
yeah,
That
all
bitch
those
was
80s
fashion,
dresses
honey.
were just awful. All
That child, no, she was, listen, she needed to be steamed. I don't know how much control she had over that gown, but I will say if you, and everybody here's about a year or two older than me.
Are we?
So if I know all this, you all should be right on the tee. Her fashion was that when she said, I don't, bitch, I'm done. She said, and I'm going to give you fashion and I'm going to give you cleavage. But she
Yes.
still said,
After that wedding.
not
but
today.
Not before that wedding. That before wedding, she was all
well,
covered up.
she wasn't controlled.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh my god.
Just like you can't control me anymore.
I mean, who wants to look like that on their wedding day? Oh my god, just so
Right,
much.
How
glamour.
dare you? She was gorgeous. Well, how much
Was
girl?
she?
And the thing, you know,
Why was she? From the neck up, she was fabulous.
Okay.
and
There.
the thing that I think
The
about-
diamonds in the crown were real, honey. It
I'm just
wasn't
saying.
like this.
Nicole what? Nicole what?
How dare you speak of her?
about with those wedding
Such
dresses.
ill fashion.
A lot
You're
of
lucky
times-
you're wearing that nice tunic.
Exactly.
a lot of people with their wedding dresses, they have this idea in their head of what they want, but they also have to think of how long they're going to be wearing this thing. I mean,
Right?
literally, you get dressed in the morning, you take pictures in it all day, you go to a ceremony, you dance, then you go. I mean, you're wearing that sucker for 10 to 12 hours. So if you're getting married in August in Florida, you don't want a big poofy dress.
Oh no, and those people sweat in that all day.
Oh,
It
yeah.
can get so
They
nasty.
need, this is what they need to do. They need to do like take notes from me from pageants. Do breakaway. Walk in like Cinderella, say I do, rip it off.
Velcro off.
Look like
Boom.
Ursula the Sea Witch with the pretty version. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
But
Like
I'm
do
just
a
saying-
breakaway. Do,
Well, but
like
I'm a
make
big
it
fan
easy
of,
on
I'm
yourself.
not actually a big
All
fan of
these
two
costume
dresses.
changes in these dresses. Screw all that. Wear
Yeah, I'm
wear
not a
two
big-
things.
Yeah, I'm not
Get just a nice tool, honey, and break it away, honey.
I'm just
Okay?
saying, I'm a
Or
big
walk
fan of
out.
two dresses. I'm a big fan of a wedding dress, cocktail dress for,
Oh,
and
me too.
then
All day long.
changing
But
into a
make it
party
easier
dress.
on me. Let me just undo the Velcro, girl, put it on the stand and go pow, and then
Yeah.
walk up the door.
And
I
plus,
mean,
and
that's only making your job easier, Keith.
I still have to pick it up.
One day he'll listen to me. I don't know. Maybe
I
never,
just
but
have to pick
hopefully.
it up. That's all. Anyway, sorry, Nichole. Go
Remember
ahead. What were you
Celeste?
saying? Hold on, Nichole. What were you saying?
I said, and it's a lot easier to pee.
Well, see there.
Of course. It's
Oh,
the
you
worst
just do that.
you have to go to the bathroom and you're in a big floofy wedding dress and you need 3 of your bridesmaids just to hold the dress up so you can go to the bathroom.
No. Did you see that they made an invention about a pee break for wedding dresses?
Yeah, it was on the Shark Tank.
Oh, what is it?
So it's like a skirt that goes under everything, and it has a drawstring. So when you're ready to go you literally pull it up over your shoulder and draw the string, and it pulls all your dress up so you can pee.
I'm just gonna go ahead and piggyback off that for the like deep dark reception. After reception and the basement, there'll be a kiddie pool, and you can just cut the bag open and let it flow.
Ew.
So,
Ew. What? Okay.
Fluffy, you're from
we're
Texas.
Done for today. We have totally gone off the rails. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined us for Behind the Veil. I hope that you had as much fun as we did. I feel like every week we get a little
Did you have fun though? Because I feel like you're gonna call me in about 4 seconds.
No. I had a great time. Did everybody else? I had a great time on this. Did you guys? I mean, I loved everything that we talked about. So thank you, Marci, with An Affair to Remember by Marci. Thank you for your professional invitation input, because you really had some great ideas today. Thank you, Tyler Black with Cachet Events. Awesome. When we really talked about, how to reduce your overall guest count. Great comments. Nichole with CLE or Clay Events. Again, thank you for all of your incredible input about how to save money when you're talking about transitioning a room. And of course, Brooke Logan Stoner. Brooke, final thoughts.
Honestly, I do want to say this. All my silliness aside, I do enjoy every single Tuesday. I wake up. This is my new life. Keith will tell you. I call him as soon as I wake up. I was a little 2 hours late today, so I had to drink really super fast. Nichole, Marci, I love you. Tyler, I love you. Thank you all for being here and listening to my little potty mouth. I do like to spice things up. That's why he brings me around. But at the end of the day, I care about everyone. And I love you all. And I'm still just a meek little mountain girl. I love you all.
Oh my God. So, thank you, everybody that tuned in. I'm Keith Willard. I'm your host and the owner of Keith Willard Events. We are here every Tuesday at 2. If you have a question that wants to be answered, and obviously answered honestly, send it to info@keithwillardevents.com. Info@keithwillardevents.com. Sorry, what were you saying, Brooke? Never mind.
Just ask Brooke.
I think we need to have a Brooke. We need to have a Brooke segment. We need questions directed
at
Brooke.
I've tried. He's like, nope.
I said to her that she needs to have her own show.
Yeah, he wants nothing to do with me though. He wants
All right, my love. Everybody, have a great day. I love you. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Love you guys.